Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Alexander Howell, and as we approach Merida's hot season, I just figured it might be a good opportunity to talk about the heat because it's there. And the fact that a lot of people, really, that's their number one deterrent to not go to Merida. And I think that that's an unfortunate thing, but it's an obvious one when you kind of look at the temperature overall. So my name is Alexander Howell. Please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the little notification bell if you want to get any updates, whether I'm streaming or one of these videos goes live. You'll be the first to know about it. Also, feel free to visit me at any of these social media networks. At Alexander from KC is where you can normally find me, or send me a text message, 816-727-7740, and I will always respond. Sometimes it takes me a bit because I'm starting to get a lot of emails and texts and stuff like that, but I will respond, no questions asked. So today we're going to talk about the heat, because it's hot. And also, as an added resource, I've started a Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/travel2 Merida. And the entire idea is some groups have become a little catty lately, and I'm just trying to create a group where people who watch this channel or that live in Merida or travel to Merida that have advice can go in there, get advice, ask any question that they want, and just get pure, clean advice. No comments, no political stuff, nothing like that. Just go in, enjoy, make some friends, and learn what you can. Thanks. So, as most of you already know who clicked on this video, you probably thought, I've heard Merida's hot. How hot does it get? Well, right now, it's, well, I took a screenshot earlier of the temperature of the next few days, and I'll just lean over, and it's that hot. It's pretty hot. So anyway, it does get hot, obviously, and the triple digits is not out of the ordinary. And when you are there, you are 25 minutes from the ocean. It gets humid, and they do have a wet season. And normally that wet season is between about May and October. And the temperatures can get from the upper 90s into the hundreds. And then at night, your average during that season is going to be between the low and mid 70s. So you will see a lot of things happening at night. And that's the reason why. There are huge temperature differences between right in the middle of the day, I know, and at night. So it helps to be out at night, get those cool breezes, get those nice temperatures, and you still are in a nice warm environment. It's just not death like it is during the day. And the truth of the matter is, it is hot. I mean, we're talking about right now, it's in triple digits. It's going to go higher. In fact, the hottest month of the year, if you ask pretty much any Yucatecan, is May. So next month, this is being recorded in April of 2021. Next month is technically going to be their hottest month. And as you can tell, temperatures are already in the hundreds. So if you're there, good luck. But as you can see, I'm not. I actually still live in Kansas City at this point. So for those of you who haven't seen my channel in the past, my name is Alexander Howell, and my wife and I purchased a property in Merida after taking a month-long sabbatical with our children to actually one of the coastal towns, which we'll talk about in a bit, called Yucatan. And that had a little bit of a nice breeze coming out of the north and the Gulf, but we decided to buy in Merida proper for a number of reasons, which, if you like and subscribe to the channel, check out the other videos, and I have tons of them talking about our decision-making process and the like. But we ended up buying in Merida proper, and we had actually been there on a day where it was, I think, about 103, humid as could be. We had little kids, and we had to like carry them over our shoulder, get through about 12 blocks of traffic. It was tough, but I've never enjoyed air conditioning so much. So speaking of, one of the best ways that you can handle either having a trip to Mexico, or if you're looking for a place to purchase in Merida, Yucatan, Mexico, is make sure that you look at air conditioning. Now, most of the time what you're going to see are window units or ductless units that are in each individual room, or at least span an area. And those are just the big wall units that you see. They're white normally, and they just have one little pad way up in the air, and they're individually controlled rooms. Now, this is going to help with energy consumption, but the number one thing to think about is that it is pretty much possible to put them anywhere in these buildings. Now, one of the reasons why that is this is all concrete construction. So running ducts like you would see here, if you could see our ceiling here in the basement, is that concrete doesn't really allow for duct construction unless you talk about exterior units where you can see, as opposed to these, which can pretty much be put in any room with some drilling, electrical, and the lines running to it. So if you're looking at an Airbnb, if you're looking at a house to purchase, if you're looking at just a place to stay in general, make sure that you tap the little air conditioning button on Airbnb, or confirm that the person has it in their house. It makes it so much easier. You walk in, you turn the button on, a couple of minutes later, you're in 72 degrees, or in Merida, 85. Right now, it'll feel like air conditioning. The other thing is, if you look at the overall construction of most houses down there, and I say most in the sense of if you look at Merida in Centro, some of the northern areas, and especially along the beach towns, even in those areas, you're going to find structures that have much taller ceilings. And you see this a ton in Merida, just the basic construction. Like our homes built in the early 1900s, the lowest ceiling that we have in that structure at present is 12 to 14 feet tall. Ceilings are tall. Air rises, there are windows in certain areas, they allow for airflow, obviously fans come into that, but it makes it for a much better environment. And that's true even if there isn't air conditioning. I personally prefer it. I like my temperatures to be nice and consistent, but it's a nice, easy way to look at the construction of those properties and say, this isn't a good way to judge whether or not this property is going to be scorching or there's going to be some provided relief. So I've always tried to describe the heat down there because a lot of people, like, I'm from the Midwest, so I'm used to temperatures at 0 during the winter and 100 during the summer. I'm used to heat, I'm used to cold, but for the most part, you know, we shuffle between 30 and 80, 85 degrees is kind of what I would say is the range of temperatures. And then you get the extremes at certain points where it hits those zeros and over 100s. In Merida, you're talking about a pretty consistent temperature base in the, you know, high 80s to low hundreds. That's where the heat is pretty much all year long. But there is a website called nativenomadlife.com. And on one of their pages, they have an incredible story that I wanted to share because it kind of discusses exactly what the heat is like. And what he says is, on your way home, grab some cookies, go home, make the cookies, spread them out, put them in the oven, whatever it might be, take the cookies out of the oven and then jump in it. That's what the temperature's like. Now, obviously, for safety reasons, I must say, please don't jump in any ovens that is 350 to 400 degrees or more, and you are human and will die. But at the same time, when you think about the temperature, that first heat wave oven heat, that is kind of what it feels like. And if that is not for you, no need to go down. There's no point, there's no risk, there's no reason. You can find other places that are more to your liking. But if you're somebody like me who likes a high heat environment, who hates the cold, who has sports injuries in the past where I end up getting really uncomfortable in the winter because my knuckles are messed up, my shoulder gets messed up, the heat is wonderful for me. And the humidity has never bothered me. I like humidity, but there are things that help out with that. Another thing that you can look at is find a place with a pool. When we were looking at places to buy, my realtor literally told me, when you go to rent this place out, because our house we're going to Airbnb for a while before we make the permanent jump down, make sure that you put a pool in your property. Once you feel the heat, you understand exactly why. You are in the middle of a colonial city that is 25 minutes from the ocean. That's awesome. But you have to live there on a day-to-day basis. It is very easy to spend some outside time in a pool compared to spending some outside time trying to figure out why you are literally cooking. So if you're looking to travel there, if you're looking to live there, make sure that one of the number one priorities that you have is a pool. We're putting one in. I'm so excited. Now, some people are snowbirds, so they're not going to be down there between May and July, August, September, when it is absolutely at its hottest point. But they will go down during the winter when in somewhere like Kansas City, as I said, you're dealing with average of 30-degree temperatures most times, and that's not fun either. You can go down there, you still have hot temperatures, it's still beautiful, there's still a wonderful colonial city that you're in, or you can go to the beach, and Progreso is normally about 10 degrees Fahrenheit cooler. And I just have noticed this watching the trends for the last year and a half, that every time that I look at Merida, it's like, wow, that's really hot. And then I look at Progreso and it is almost consistently 10 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than Merida is. I don't know why that's the case, but that's just what I've noticed. If you disagree, comment down below. But I've noticed that it's about 10 degrees Fahrenheit cooler. Tell me what you think. It's also a lot nicer with the breezes. So if you're thinking Merida is way too hot and you still want to go to Progreso. Go to Guaymatoon, go to Telchac Puerto, go to Chuberna, Chelem. Look at any of those towns. Stay there, and then 25 minutes, you're in Merida. 35 minutes or so, you're in Centro. And you still get to enjoy the colonial feel of Merida, and then you go right on home to your place on the beach. Whether you're staying or living there, most people that I've seen have chosen to live in towns like Chelem, Chuberna, Chicxulub, but that doesn't mean that they don't visit Merida on a near constant basis. Now, most of the people that don't stay during those ridiculously hot months and they go home, most of you have probably heard the term, but they're called snowbirds. They'll buy a place or rent a place for several months. They'll live there while home is ridiculously cold, like it just was in Kansas City. And then once the weather starts picking up in Merida, getting hotter, but it's also getting hotter in their hometown, they'll leave. Now, this obviously has more to do with people that live in the northern hemisphere as opposed to the southern hemisphere, because then your trade-off is going to be a little complicated. But as far as the northern hemisphere, in Kansas City, obviously gets warmer in the summer. Merida, it gets scorching in the summer, but it stays nice and still very hot in the winter too. So our plan eventually will be, we have a lake home, we have a home in Merida. That's going to be our retirement. Merida, lake home. We love where we're from. We love our city. We love our town, and we love our lake home. But God, love this town. I love Merida. So that's the plan so far. All right, one last thing to beat the heat, and I will get out of your ear. Cenotes. Cenotes are these beautiful, sometimes underground, but sometimes they're just a little bit underground, kind of halfway covered, pools of water that were created during the asteroid impact that killed off the dinosaurs. Now, these are beautiful pools of water. We went to one, saw three, I believe, while we were there, but they are all over the place. And I've covered in other videos how many there are. And basically, there are in and around 6,000 of varying sizes. Some are literally cavernous places with giant pools of water that are 90 feet deep. Some are very tiny. Think of them as ponds or tiny little lakes, but they're wonderful and they're a great escape to cool off most of the time, especially if they're covered. You're going to get a little bit of a respite from the heat, but for the most part, wonderful places to go. And if you have kids, they're super fun for the kids too. So in conclusion, is Merida hot? Of course it is. It's ridiculous. Let's show the temperature thing again. Right now. Next month is our hot month. That's how hot it is right now. But it is absolutely worth visiting. It is scorching hot, but again, it is also consistently scorching hot, so you'll get used to it very quickly. I can tell you personally that I am white as a ghost until I get a little bit of a tan on, and even then, it's not much better. But I had heat rush once, and it was me being stupid. It was literally the only day that there was no breeze, and I sat in the sun like an idiot and just done. So I had to stay out of the sun for 3 days, and then I was back in. We stayed there for a month, and I got completely used to the heat within a couple of weeks. It's bad, it's hot, but it's not that bad. Make sure that wherever you're hanging out, if you're having a drink, if you're having dinner, if you're outside in any way, shape, or form, just make sure that you stay at a place with an awning or a covered patio that has fans going. You get to choose. You're the customer. Or go inside, enjoy the air conditioning. There are tons of places that have AC, sealed doors. Go in, enjoy a nice drink, enjoy your dinner, enjoy your breakfast. Just enjoy the fact that you're somewhere that's 100 degrees outside and not 20. That's how I look at it. On top of that, if you're looking at a place to rent or you're looking at a place to buy, make sure that it has a pool, make sure that it has air conditioning, fans, and tall ceilings. If you have those four, you're going to make it out okay. Even the place that we stayed at in Wymatoon, it got hot several times. We had air conditioning upstairs, none on the main floor, which was kind of the quote-unquote entertainment floor. It had the living room, dining room, kitchen, and so on. We just opened up the windows or closed them if it was too hot. Stayed upstairs a couple of times, took a nap, whatever it might be. And I know you can't take a nap all day long if you're working. We were working down there too. But there are ways to get around it and ways that will make it so that it's a very comfortable experience. Learn from your first week when it's ridiculous. And then by the second, you're going to know what to do. Oh, bonus tip. Make sure that when you're walking down streets, stay on the side that has a shadow because the sun won't be hitting you right in the face. I learned that. I had a tan here up for about 3 days until it all evened out because I was walking and I thought I was good because the sun was hitting right here, but here got tan and red. I looked like a ridiculous person. Stay on the side of the streets that's shadow, and if you're tall, duck down just a bit. Anyway, that's how you beat the heat in Merida, Mexico. I would never recommend that somebody doesn't go. I think it's absolutely wonderful. But if you choose to go, make sure that you recognize that May is the hottest month and it continues on from there. Even the months before can get a little crazy, and it's always going to be hot, but the nights, nice and cool. You're talking about mid 70s most of the time. Obviously, there are times you can get to the high 80s and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're going to have very nice nights. Go out, have a great time. Beautiful nightlife around Plaza Grande especially. But enjoy your nights. Stay out of the sun during the days. And then once you get used to it, I promise you're going to love it. And also, what a great excuse to just go see the ocean in Progreso. Take a look at their oceanfront avenue. You're going to have a great time. So I hope that didn't seem too nonsensical. My name is Alexander Howell. Please feel free to visit me at alexanderhowell.com. Text me at 816-727-7740. And just like these, please feel free to visit me on social media. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, but my main one is Instagram at Alexander from KC. And last but certainly not least, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That'll let you know anytime that I go live or one of these videos pop up. You'll be the first to be notified. Again, it's hot, but I promise it's worth it. And as always, peace.